Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Are we living in the last days, what they call the end times? Is Jesus coming back soon? Are we like right at the end in our generation? I mean, you could spend hours and hours listening to teachings on YouTube or reading books about it. This person has this opinion, this opinion. Are we in the last days? And you know what the truth is? Every generation believes they are in the last days. There are wars. It's one of the signs. Check that off for the last 2,000 years of human history. There are rumors of wars. That's the time we live in also. Disasters, earthquakes, tornadoes, all kinds of things. Check all those things. All those things apply. Does that mean we are in the last days? Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 through 2 tells us the answer to that question. This is what it says. In the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets and many times and in various ways. Verse 2, but in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all. So yes, we are living in the last days. When Jesus came, that was one step closer to the last days. When he preached, gathered a group that would start the church or started the church, that was one step closer. When he was arrested, crucified, dead, buried, and rose again and ascended to heaven, we became right at the threshold of the end. The next big thing in God's timeline is the return of Jesus Christ. So we are living in the last days, the last age. Nothing else needs to happen. Before Jesus was born, the Messiah needed to be born. So they definitely were not in the last days. But then the Messiah was born. The Messiah was crucified and resurrected. So now we are in what the Bible calls the last days, the last era, the last time period before the return of Jesus Christ. When will that be? That's what they're usually trying to figure out. But Jesus told us no one knows the day or the time. Told us that 2,000 years ago. No one knows. So don't get bogged down thinking, when is he coming? Don't worry about that. We are in the last days. Nothing else needs to happen. And Jesus will return at any time. It's called imminence. He could happen right now before I finish this video, before you finish watching this video. Come at any moment. It's imminent. We always have to expect him to come. So it's a trap, and I believe a demonic trap, to focus on dates and times and get all wrapped up in arguments about that. Nothing will ever come out of that. But Jesus teaches on it, and he teaches us to expect something and to do something. And so he's preparing his disciples because he's leaving. He's going to be crucified, leaving them in charge, and they want to know when this is going to happen. And he tells them, they're in the last days now. He doesn't use that terminology, but he tells them what to expect and what to do. So this is Matthew 24, verse 12 through 14. And Jesus says this, because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations. And then the end will come. So we're living in the last days. We're just waiting for the end of the last days. And he tells us what to expect. He said, because of the increase of wickedness. So wickedness will be increasing more and more. Now, I don't have a scale of wickedness. I've only been alive in my lifetime. But I know in my lifetime, wickedness is getting worse. It's increasing everywhere. Whether it's at that point or not, I don't know. But one of the things to expect is that the increase of wickedness will happen. It's not everything's going to get nice. Everyone's going to follow Jesus. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be there's going to increase of wickedness. And then he says something that just shocks me. Jesus says something that shocks me. He says, the love of most will grow cold. The love of most. He's talking about followers of God, followers of Jesus, will grow cold because of the wickedness in the world. So we can expect people will be turning away from Jesus. Their love will be growing cold. Wow. Expect that. Wickedness. The love of many growing cold. And then that's what we should expect. And then he tells us what to do. What to do. I want to focus on what to do. I don't need to know a time. I want to know, what do I need to do now? And I'm going to do it every day until I die or Jesus returns. That's how I'm going to be good. That's how you're going to be good. Focus on what you have to do. Forget about issues. That's not for you to know. It's not for anybody to know. Only the Father knows that. So in verse 13 he says, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. What I have to do is stand firm. Wickedness will increase. The love of many will grow cold. But I have to stand firm to the end. You have to stand firm to the end. In the midst of wickedness, in the midst of other people turning away, stand firm all the way to the end, and you will be saved. The implication, of course, if you don't stand firm, you will not be saved. It's not once saved, you're always saved, and that's it. No. You got to persevere until the end. Till the end. Well, that's the end of your life or the return of Jesus Christ. Stand firm to the end. And then he says, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations. So not only do I have to stand firm, but I have to preach the gospel, tell others about Jesus wherever I go, whenever I have that opportunity. That's what we're supposed to be doing, preaching the word to the whole world as a testimony, because God doesn't want anyone to perish, but everyone to be saved. And he wants them to have an opportunity so they can't say, well, I never had the opportunity, I never heard about it. He wants everyone to hear about it. So what do? Stand firm and spread God's kingdom everywhere. That's what I have to do. Forget about thinking about the date or anything. I have to do that. Stand firm, preach the gospel as a testimony to all the world. And when we do that, it says, and Jesus says, and then the end will come. So apparently there's some kind of tipping point that only the Father knows. And it's tied to spreading the gospel. It's tied to standing firm in the midst of increasing wickedness and the love of many growing cold. The gospel goes out, and then the end will come. So what do? Number one is we forget about trying to figure out dates. We expect wickedness. We expect people falling away. But we stand firm and we spread the gospel. And one day, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet sound, that day could be today, it could be tomorrow. One day, the King will return, and our hope will be fulfilled, our blessed hope. So God bless you, and understand you're living in the last days. Do what you're supposed to do. Stand firm and spread the gospel with your eyes on the soon return of Jesus Christ. God bless you, and I hope to see you on Wednesday. But if the Lord returns in between, hallelujah, I'll be in glory, and I pray that you will be too, busy doing what you've been called to do when the King comes. God bless you.